All right, recording in progress. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here. Um, Thanks, everyone. Welcome. If this is your first go, this is our weekly masterclass series powered by the African Immigrant Collective and our mission. This is one of the platforms that we use to drive our mission, that is to provide, access to information and resources to Africans here in the diaspora, so no one has to start from scratch. And we are fortunate to have excellent knowledge partners who come every week and are open to sharing their knowledge, passing down gems that can help us excel, thrive, go from surviving to just being meaningful contributors in this ecosystem where we call home now. And today we are very fortunate and blessed to have one of my personal favorite people in the world. Uh, Winnie, she is going to be taking us on a very powerful session on how we can network. So please let us stay plugged in. If there's anybody you feel like needs to be on this call, take the next 2 seconds to forward the Zoom link to them so they can join. And a few housekeeping items before we get started, before I hand it off to her. One, hold your questions. You can use the chat if you have questions, and she'll answer them on the fly. If not, at the end of the session, uh, she'll leave some time for questions as well. So if you want to speak and, have your questions answered, you have the time to do that at the end of the session or through the chat as the session is going on. We encourage everybody to stay mute and don't come off video throughout the session again to avoid the distraction so we can get all the value and everyone there's no minimal distractions. And lastly, everything that will be taught and shared is all from our facilitators' experience and expertise. You are still encouraged to go do your own research, your own thing. AIM is not going to be, all our facilitators will not be held liable for any decisions or outcomes afterwards. So this is personal experience being shared. Take and do with as you like the knowledge you receive. With all of that mouthful of announcements said, please virtual hand claps and welcome our facilitator for the day, Winnie. Winnie, over to you. You can take it from here.
Thank you very much. It is my greatest delight to share this knowledge with you all. Happy spring, if I might to say it that way. And the topic I'm sharing with you today is building your professional network from zero, how immigrants make connections and access career resources. Because as we all know, this is something we often struggle with. So I hope we all get to know or pick a nugget on how we can get. Just to introduce myself again, my name is Winnie Iga Lualanda, and I am both a workforce and career strategy coach, which is a dual role. If you are not very familiar with workforce, I want you to think of workforce as the supply end of the labor market. Think Department of Labor, think employers, think training programs. So that is the workforce, the macro side, the workforce side. And then career readiness is like the individual side of it, the one that you go to a career coach to personally discuss your career journey. So I am an in-between. I call myself an intermediary between the macro and the micro of the workforce. What do I do for a living? I design and facilitate workshops just like this one to guide career changers on how to think and speak differently about their value and potential. And that is the passion of my life. So in the next 40 minutes, my hope is that we shall leave or depart when you have understood or have an understanding of what professional network is as a learnable skill. I hope you'll be able to identify entry points to building connections and how networking unlocks access to workforce development resources. And definitely we shall have a call to action. So buckle up and let's enjoy the ride. Think about it. You've identified a job, in an organization that you want. But who do you call? Do you just apply and pray that everything goes well? Who do you call? Think about that. So the paradox we have with networking is you need a network to find jobs, and you need a job to build a network. So these two must go together. That's the paradox that I hope by the end of this webinar, we're able to kind of solve. I wanted us to look through some of the mindset that we have as both US professionals and immigrant professionals when it comes to networking so that we can draw the difference out. When it comes to US professionals, networking is about self-promotion. It's self-advocacy. You confidently articulate what you bring to the table. You direct about the impact and the value that you bring. It is about self-promotion. But when it comes to the immigrant professional, we downplay our achievements. We wait to be invited to share. We are modest. We think about humility norms. So right there, this is self-promotion. This is downplaying. Number two, US professionals. They see networking as a strategic outreach. They don't have a problem with cold outreach. It is the norm. I don't know this person. I'll reach out. They have something I like. Maybe I have something they can give. So they don't have a problem asking for informational interviews. Can you give me 20 minutes of your time so that we can interact about this job that I'm interested in? Strategic outreach, unapologetic. When it comes to the immigrant professional, we have a fear of bothering someone. What will they think? What will my manager think if I go and ask? We approach relationship with caution. We prefer safe, trust-based connections where we don't feel that we're offending anybody. So the US professional sees networking as a strategic outreach. The immigrant professional is concerned about breaking a relationship. They're relationship conscious. Another difference. The US professional knows the hidden rules of networking. They're familiar with etiquette. They know how to harness every point of networking, the industry channels, the alumni. They'll go for anything. They know the hidden rules of how networking works. The immigrant professional does not really value networking that much. We navigate networking without a particular map, if I'm to put it that way, uncertain about expectations. And we have limited access to networks, not to mention that we don't really understand their value. The US professional, they know they have a stable identity. They are consistent about their professional identity, and that their roles, their whole being as credibility. For us, we have an unstable identity because we have to rebuild our professional identity. We have to rebuild our confidence, and we're hesitant. We are hesitant. We are hesitant to claim our expertise because we are in roles that are mismatched. So that unstable professional identity doesn't allow us to go out networking with vigor. The US professional, they have an individualistic mindset. They know that networking is about personal advancement, and they will go unapologetically, clear with their goals articulated, focused. The immigrant professional, we're doing with collective cultural norms. Networking feels like, self-serving. We're more obligated to community, what the community does. We're not really so much into individualizing this thing. So networking is not a big do for us. So that is what I want us to break in the next 30 minutes. Networking is important, and we must understand how professional networking works. What you need to know about the US immigrant professional, now that is you and I, relationship first, then know what we know, you and I, we know that relationship is first, then professional contact later. But what is expected of us is professional contact first, then the relationship grows after. Professionalism first. Where do you work? Do I know you? Okay, let's connect. We'll build the relationship later. But here, we're asking, who do you know? No. We're thinking that trust is built over time through community. But what is expected? Trust is built via showing our reliability, our consistency, and our follow through. That is professional networking. It is not built in community like we know how to do it. Here on the professional stage, trust is built from reliability, the way you reliable when you have a task, inconsistency, and follow through. From our end, small talk is a by the way, but from a professional networking point, small talk is a sign that you're open, that you have a professional skill. So keep that in mind as we continue on with this ride. Expectations, you expected to professionally contact someone first before the relationship grows. You expected to build trust thereafter by your conduct. And small talk is not a problem. That is a skill. Keep that in mind. How many of us have a LinkedIn profile, if at all? Has anyone messaged a person you did not know on LinkedIn? I only saw one hand. Do we have only one person with a LinkedIn profile? If there is someone who has a LinkedIn profile and has messaged a person you did not know on LinkedIn, I would like you to share your experience with us. Tell us, how did you reach out to that person? What did you tell them? Did they respond? How did it go? Tell us about that experience. Anyone can come off mute for a minute.
Hi, Winnie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Right. This is Chinae. I'm dialing in from San Jose, California.
Okay.
Quickly, just to share my experience. I did come across the podcast of there's a guy like an entrepreneur. He had a podcast, and then I watched the podcast. It really touched me. Um, there was a lot of lessons learned, a lot of very real and relatable nuggets. And so, like, I didn't just feel satisfied just watching the podcast and leaving it there. I was like, I have to tell these guys something. I mean, like, whatever. But I reached out to him on LinkedIn and then I just dropped like a couple sentences. Like, I just watched your podcast. It was like, thank you for sharing your story. It really touched me, things along those lines. And he literally wrote back like the next day or like later that day. And he was very excited that I reached out. He was grateful and he kind of like, oh, great. Like, let's keep in touch. Like it was just random. I never knew him, stuff like that. So I would say for me, I was moved to reach out. I didn't know him. And the response was pretty positive, right? And then I think he was really excited that he's sharing his story kind of touched someone, and so for me it was a good experience and it was a learning experience as well. I mean, worst case scenario, they don't respond, but like sometimes you really get very positive feedback, right? And that kind of encourages you to do more. So that's for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Jenny. What surprised you about the whole interaction? What surprised you?
I think the fact that they reached back right away, and how just genuinely excited they were for someone to kind of like confirm that they're connected with their story, like the fact that they are just sharing their story and actually making an impact on someone's life. I think, I mean, they were just nice, right? And this is someone that has really achieved a lot. They don't have any obligation to reach out to me. They don't know me, right? But, I mean, it was a good feeling that they actually reached out and be like, thank you so much. Thank you for appreciating me. Thank you for, like just kind of reaching out, right? So I was like, oh,
Mhm.
cool.
Why do you think they reached out? Why do you think they responded?
It could be a lot of things. Um, my I don't know, but my thought process will probably be um they just wanted to um I think they're in a mission. Like when people share their stories, the whole point is like that their story touches someone, and so when they do get that feedback that your story did touch someone, they want to do more, or like they want to affirm that you're not alone, you can do it, I did it, or something like that. You just, like to stay connected and not just ignore, like to encourage someone that they had already touched through their story. So I'm just using this particular example to kind of say what I
Mhm.
think was the reason why they reached back. But it could be anything, I don't know. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Did you stay in touch with them after that first encounter?
Yeah, I stayed like updated on their LinkedIn posts. Like if they do post something that is of interest
Mhm.
to me, I do reach out. If I feel moved to comment, I do comment, right?
Mhm.
So nothing physical, but I definitely visit their page very often because they have like rich things that they put out there from time to time. So yeah, it's personally beneficial to me.
That's a beautiful scenario of what networking should be like. Let's see if we can relate to that story as we continue to dig into this conversation. So, if you do not have a LinkedIn profile, let me tell you, LinkedIn is the non-negotiable for professional networking. If it hadn't been for LinkedIn, I wouldn't even be here. How did I meet AIM? I met AIM because someone knew about what I like to do, my goals of empowering immigrant professionals. I talked to them about it. And this person has Facebook. I do not. But they saw the AIM flyer on their Facebook feed and they sent it over to me. And what did I do? I Googled AIM. I linked in, searched AIM, and that is how I landed on AIM. That's the reason why we're here, because of networking. So LinkedIn is your public professional identity. It's non-negotiable. Why is it important? It gives you visibility. People vet you from your LinkedIn profile. That's how you vet it. That is how recruiters vet you. That is how people who want to connect with you will vet you. From LinkedIn, you can state your case if you want, open to work label for those who have seen it. It shows recruiters that you're available. That can give you a faster inroad towards being maybe interviewed or screened for an interview. LinkedIn is your public professional identity. When you are on LinkedIn, you can access alumni searches, for people who went to your school, people who come from your country, people with whom you have a similar common ground that I would call hanging fruit. From LinkedIn, you can directly reach out, message professionals directly. I have messaged big people that I never thought I would ever meet if I wasn't on LinkedIn. But that gives you, let me call it the right to reach out directly to people who would otherwise not be able to. And then, most importantly, also, LinkedIn has skills assessments. These are verifiable, trusted signals. They're free assessments that can compensate for unfamiliar credentials. So if you stack up on those and get a skills badge every now and then, that tells something to someone who would want to connect with you in your industry or to a recruiter or even your employer. So if you do not have LinkedIn, please. That is the first thing you need to do if you're interested in professional networking. LinkedIn considerations, as I tell you about having it or not having it. If you have a LinkedIn profile, or if you're planning on having one, there are some things I would love for you to keep in mind. One, grow your network before you really need it. Don't do what I did. I signed up on LinkedIn in 2006, and I did not touch my profile until 2000, maybe 15-ish, like 10 years later. Why? Because I had a comfortable job, life was good. I really didn't have to deal with these people, you know. Don't do what I did. Grow your network before you really need it. I've put need in quotes. Then how? How do you grow your network? Look for people who are doing the same job with you. Look for people with whom you have a common interest. Look for people with whom you want to learn something from, people with whom you can partner. I reached out to AIM because I wanted to partner with them. They had what I have, and I wanted to collaborate. Reach out with people with whom you have a common interest. I had a common interest with AIM, and desperately wanted to connect with them. What do you look for in a profile? Has the person updated their profile? When was the last activity they did on their LinkedIn profile? When did they last post? When did they last comment? When did they last share? Is it 8 months ago? Is that the kind of person you'd like to connect with? So these are some of the telltale signs that you are not necessarily a good person to network with. If your profile is not updated, if you don't have any activity, you don't comment, there is nothing. Maybe you are not a very good position, in a very good position for someone to reach out to you and connect. So that's another thing to think about. Don't wait for job loss. Don't wait. Don't do the Winnie thing of waiting until you lose a job. Then I have a LinkedIn profile. Maybe I need to. No, don't wait for that. Spend time. Engage your LinkedIn audience. Even if it's just once a week, do something. Engage. Reconnect with people you already know. How many connections do you have? You have 500 plus, but how many are really viable? Reconnect with people you already know. Start now. Don't wait. Start now. Post. Share others' posts if you don't have anything to post that is original. Chinenye just told us about the experience she had. So if she reads something that she finds of interest, she can repost that as an activity as well. That others in her network, because chances are people in your network, you have some kind of common ground, you repost it. Another way of engaging, recommend people. If you know someone and you know they have a skill, go to the recommendations and recommend them. That good deed will come back to you. So those are some of the ways you can engage. Those are some of the ways you keep active on LinkedIn to make people see you as someone who is viable to connect with. Let's talk about entry points, connecting entry points. How, if you don't have a network, how do we start out from zero? I want to give us 6 entry points. The first one is the lowest entry barrier. Connect with AIM. Connect with us. Connect with your community. I'm from Uganda. Oh, I didn't mention that. I'm originally from Uganda. So I must connect with the Ugandan community in Chicago. I live in Chicago. Connect with your community. That's the lowest entry barrier. Then connect with organizations like AIM, where people are doing something that is good for you. Why is this a low entry point? There is fast trust building. There is instant common ground. So look for the lowest entry barrier and connect. The second entry point, your co-workers. There are some nice people that you work with. Ask them, do you have a LinkedIn profile? Can we connect? For me, anyone that I talk to, that is something I ask. Do you have a LinkedIn? Can we connect? I'm sending you a request. Connect with your coworkers. That's another quick way of growing your circle because they already know how you work. You already have a common ground. You're working for this organization. Connect. Request them to connect. Then, another very important entry point is workforce development centers. This is very, very important. I said workforce is think supply. So workforce development centers are centers that develop the workforce, the US workforce. The workforce development centers, for the most part, offer free career readiness support. So if you did not know about a workforce development center, you got to find one. I'll tell you what they are. Every state has what we call an American Job Center. Every state has an American Job Center. That is a workforce development center that is supported by the Department of Labor. So when you're thinking about workforce development, think supply. The Department of Labor supplying the services that are needed to make the labor force ready. So workforce development is about employers, is about finances of employers, is about the Department of Labor, is about the employment training agencies. So look for a workforce development center. Let that stick. Another entry point are LinkedIn groups. In your industry, what industry are you in? Look for groups on LinkedIn that are related to the industry you are interested in and ask to join those groups. That's a low entry point. You already have a professional commonality. And for you introverts, I'm an introvert as well, or supposed to be one, observe how they interact in the groups and engage. Engage. If you are shy-ish, you can start from there in the LinkedIn groups and start engaging slowly. See, look out for people and see how they interact. Another entry point, alumni networks from your schools. People have traveled widely. There are people who could have gone to my school in Uganda whom I can connect with. They're everywhere. Look from your schools that you attended, your universities, your churches. Look for these people on LinkedIn because you can search them via these avenues, then request to connect with them. Another avenue is volunteering. Volunteer your skills. As you volunteer, you meet people. Why are these very important? They build references for you. They can vouch for you. So those are some entry points on how we can broaden our network. Your community groups, professional associations, AIM, African Immigrant Collective. Professional associations. Are you an accountant? What are those accountant professional associations? Join them. I am in a professional career coach association. I am in the National Workforce Development Professional Association. So for your profession, look for those professional associations and join them because you already have a commonality. That is low-hanging fruit. Go for that. Is there one resource you know about which you wish someone had told you earlier about? You know it now, but you didn't know it then at zero. A person, a program, a website that has helped your career development. Anyone tell us about that? How did you find it? Who told you about it? Okay. Assuming that possibly not, we can proceed. By the end of this, we should be able to know enough resources to share with others and also grow our own career development.
I can share some.
Yes, sir. Please.
I think one, people also don't look at their local library. Um, the local library in most places is a hub for information, and not just books, but access to opportunities, different things. It's the library I found to be a very useful resource. And then most of the time, people sleep on this one as well. Walking into agencies, walking into their offices, most of the big named agencies, especially for job search, have physical locations that you can walk into, and they offer some of the services, just like the workforce centers. They will offer things around helping people with resumes, and now you're talking to a real person looking at very local opportunities. So those agency offices, those are also good resources. So those two I wanted to highlight.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, they are resources, but we must be willing to do the work, to reach out and find out. So, in continuation to what Namdi just said, here are 4 workforce development resources. The first, American Job Centers. That right there, careeronestop.org, is the website for the American Job Centers. So if you want to find out your nearest American Job Center, that is the website to visit. You enter your zip code and you should be able to be directed to the closest American Job Center. These are free. There are community NGOs that focus training on skilled immigrants. These normally connect with employers to help you find a job, but they also train you, career readiness, job search readiness. These are things like Upwardly Global, quite a number, you know. So those community NGOs, and just like also what Namdi just said, some of those are just available. In Chicago here, we call them E&ETs, employer and employee training centers, where you can just walk in and get help. Some of these work under American Job Centers. Then another very important one, this WIOA, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA. This is a government facilitated program that trains mainly in community colleges, but also in some of the community NGOs. It has 2 programs for the youth, that's ages between 18 to 24, and then for adults. So depending on your bracket, you can go to an American Job Centers and inquire if they have a WIOA program. But most community colleges do have this program. So there is a resource for you. So these 3 are good. They're possible networking options, but they also do have at times ask for eligibility. By eligibility, I mean, do you have an ID? How available, how many hours can you commit to this? That kind of, there's some kind of screening to see if you are really serious about getting into the program. Then this other 4th option, in reference to what Namdi talked about, public libraries. If you don't have a library card, walk straight to the library after this webinar and get yourself one. I don't know if some of you are aware, but your library card gives you access to LinkedIn Learning for free. Free. You can sign into LinkedIn. LinkedIn Learning courses are expensive, but if you use your library card, you can access any LinkedIn course for free. I am not ashamed to tell you that I've done over 100 courses of this because I've been on it for the last maybe 4 years. So you access those free courses and upskill on your soft skills. Then there's also Google Careers, you know, access that information and upskill, skill up, skill up. So I also wanted to talk to you about the workforce development, the workforce talent development trends that are happening right now that are hot. There is, if you are between mainly ages 18 to 24, but you can also ask at your job center, they vary. What is really happening? The government, under the talent development strategy, American Golden Age, is pushing for apprenticeships. So they are pushing to have at least 1 million active registered apprenticeships. So this is going mainstream. All of us in workforce development are having classes on this apprenticeship program because the government is pushing for it. And this is mainly in the trade and technical skills. Because if you are paying attention to the news objectively, you're hearing manufacturing is coming back to America. Manufacturing, those are employment opportunities. So when you go to your job center, ask about apprenticeships. What is happening there? Another trend, AI literacy is becoming a baseline credential. It will create new pathways for AI jobs. So to fuel rapid reskilling, get in early, find out. When you go to the job centers, ask, what are they doing about AI literacy? Another workforce development trend is skills-based hiring. This is my very favorite area in coaching people because skills-based hiring is replacing degree requirements. In my own city of Chicago, the mayor signed that employers can now no longer restrict screenings on degrees. Skills-based hiring is picking up steam. So this is closing the immigrant credential gap. Find out about these things. So the system, when it comes to talent development, is working in our favor. Get ahead of the curve. Make use of those entry points that we talked about. These trends, the things could be discussing when you go there. I like sharing Zeal career truths to think about. So here we go. Most free programs are hard to find, yet someone in your network already knows where they are. Think about that. We are talking free programs, like I've just told you. They're not easy to find, but someone in your network already knows where they are. So know what questions to ask. A warm referral to a workforce program works just like a warm referral to a job. Refer someone to the resource. Then you personally introduce yourself. Walk into a workforce development and introduce yourself to a resource connector. Introduce yourself. Or introduce yourself to an immigrant that is 2 steps ahead of you. That is something we need to pick up on, introducing ourselves. Talk. This is self-advocacy. Speak up when you need something. Refine your ask. What to keep in mind before networking? Define your goals. Why am I asking this person? Why am I requesting this person to connect with me? Why? Because the goals you have shape who you connect with. What to keep in mind before networking? Networking is about relationship building. Trust building takes time. So be patient and be genuinely curious about others. You heard Chinenye's story. She was curious. Lead with value. What are you bringing to the table for the contact, for the person you want to connect with before placing your request? Quality over quantity. You better have 10 genuine, well-kept contacts than 500 connections that you've never even talked to or even bothered to connect with. I am so when I request for my connections. I have a full log. Why am I connecting with this person? When do I hope to connect with them again? Why should I reach out to them? What am I giving back to them? What do I want them to give? Those are things you should be thinking about if you want to get quality connections. Think about it. You are a resource yourself. The knowledge that you have, your workplace, your knowledge, you already know about the system. Your knowledge is a gift to somebody. You already know how to navigate workplaces, workplace politics. That is a gift to somebody. So you are a resource. You shouldn't even be looking. You are a resource in your own self. Something else to think about, small actions. Networking is about small actions. That forwarded email. I told you about my friend who sent me the flyer that she saw from Facebook. She forwarded it to me. That shared program name, that LinkedIn introduction, it can change someone's professional trajectory. And let me tell you, my people, we are our own large network. We are. So just as you're thinking about connecting, you also ask yourself, who am I going to help? I'm big on helping people because that's how we grow. So we are professionals that are adapting to a new system, but we should also be proactive learners of the system. Adapt the system. Networking is a must if we're going to grow professionally. So what is my call to action? It starts with one message. Have one goal. Reach out. You can do any one of these things. Create or update your LinkedIn profile. Find one Workforce American Job Center near you. Send one outreach message to maybe reconnect with someone whom you haven't connected with in a long time. Leave this webinar with a connection. Connect with me. Leave this webinar with a connection. Find out who are these people who have attended. Can you drop your LinkedIn profile so that we connect? Build alliances. Let me tell you, it is intentionality. Be intentional. Set networking time aside. I am intentional about my networking. I actually have networking time on my calendar where I will spend hours going through my LinkedIn connections to reconnect, build alliances. That's how we shall grow. So my friends, you have what it takes. Position yourself for opportunity. Know your uniqueness. Be interested in others. Have a giving mindset. It will come back to you. So the question isn't whether you can succeed at relationship building, but the question is, how quickly will you realize it takes someone to get you in so that you can get out? It took my friend who gave me the flyer to get me in so that I could reach out to AIM to get me in so that I can get out and come and make an impact like I'm making right now. That's what networking is about. Get in so that you can get out. So, as we close, connection is a form of courage. These are my Zeal networking thoughts. Connection is a form of courage. Each time we reach out, we reclaim more of our professional identity. Each time you courageously reach out, you are reclaiming your professional identity. I have so many stories to tell you about networking, but that will be for another time. The time when I reached out and someone I didn't expect, someone so big came that when we got on I almost lost my voice because I couldn't believe they were actually talking to me. But it was like, okay, if I can really reach out and that person gets to me, it boosted my professional identity. So each time we reach out, we reclaim more of our professional identity. Keep that in mind. Networking is not the search for contacts. It is the practice of being seen, being valued, being remembered. Seen, valued, remembered. It is positioning for opportunity. So the question is, how much do you want that opportunity? How much do you want that opportunity? I guide early to mid-career changers how to think differently about their value and potential. If you want to find out about me, that is my website, zilcav.com. And there is a QR code. If I've given you any value, please leave me a review and connect with me. I love connecting. That is my story. Questions, comments?
Hi, this is Lebo.
All right.
Thank you for
Can we do like a virtual session? Do you have anybody with a question?
yeah, I don't know if you can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, great. I was gonna say thank you, Winnie, for such a great presentation. You gave me a lot to like really think about. I'm also like in the process of networking. And some of the few challenges I think I've had, which you've kind of highlighted, was that it's really important that you maintain the relationship with the people that you connect with. Because sometimes it's so easy to just focus on I'm connecting with you because I need to get somewhere, but it's really important to keep the relationship going. And so yeah, like I guess my question though is that how do you, what is, especially if you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, how do you maintain that relationship outside of like LinkedIn? If you just send them a message and you want to keep that going, how can you just move that relationship somewhere else so you can keep them in your corner?
A few things you can do. Thank you for that question. A few things you can do. Follow up on what they're posting. What are they saying? If that person is, you're really interested in them. Then, as you follow up, you can get to learn their rhythm, the things that interest them. Okay, so that's the consistency, the reliability. When they post a
Mm-hmm,
comment, you can just like, then keep
mm-hmm,
in mind what they talked about.
mm-hmm,
Then a week later, you can send them a message that you can possibly make it safer for them. Ask 20 minutes. Can I have 20 minutes of your time to talk about the thing that you posted? Because I think I
mm-hmm,
also saw something like this. I would love if you have 20 minutes of your time. Can I have 20 minutes of your time to talk about this? Because relationship building takes time. Someone may not want to meet you physically before they get to really know about you.
mm-hmm.
Relationship building is about trust building. Namdi is still trying to make me trust him before I can come to Atlanta to see him. So we're still working on this trust thing.
I see.
But anyway, the point is, it's trust building. Get someone to a level where they feel comfortable with you. So it starts with those small actions. They post something and you show interest. They post
Mm,
something, you show interest. So as you show interest in them, they'll also pick interest in you. And then you will pick up the relationship from there.
okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Questions, comments? Anyone? I'm getting my LinkedIn for you all.
Yeah,
If you
there's
have it.
people in the chat, but there's a lot of networking going on in the chat. There
Yeah,
is. They're posting LinkedIn links. Ugwani
connect,
posted his connection link. Okay, Winnie, I see yours. Who else?
get to know each other.
Ivan
Let's,
posted his details. So
yes,
two
connect,
people are
connect,
connecting.
connect. This is what we're all about. We are our own resource. We
All
are
right.
our own resource. We could spend the rest of the few minutes connecting so that we, did you get the QR code or did I take it off quickly? Let's
You
see.
can share your screen again. I think you stopped sharing.
Oh, sorry. And for the ladies that are here, please, next Saturday, if you haven't registered for the AIM Women's Conference, This is what we're about. This
Yeah.
is what we're about. Share.
And the link to that is in the chat. Winnie, thank you very much. While we are still connecting the chats, can everybody take a moment to do a virtual hand clap for Winnie? Um, Make sure you are connecting with her. You're following all of the work she's doing. Winnie, thank you so much for today. Not just for today, for all you do for us here at AIM. Since you joined the family, you've been a giver. Let me put it that way. You've always been generous with your time and knowledge. So thank you for today. A few quick announcements as we wrap up the session, and you can still ask questions. I've posted some links in the chat. So first of all, if you're not on our WhatsApp community, go ahead and join. The link is in the chat. Just scroll up a little bit and you'll see the link to join the WhatsApp community. It's important because within the community or within the we have different subgroups. We have one for professionals, our workforce and marketplace. We have one for we have a place for opportunities. We have a place for women. We have a space for young professionals and students. So there's different. We have one for parents, for parenting. We have a parenting circle. So there's different groups within the community that you can also plug into and find more aligned voices with what you're looking for. We're trying to structure, or we've structured the community in a way where we are meeting everybody where they are. So please make sure you're plugged in, and don't just join. Let somebody else know about AIM. A lot of people don't know AIM. AIM is a nonprofit, so we don't have a ridiculous marketing budget to push our mission just yet. We're getting there. But the best way people can get to know about our work is when you tell them about it. So let somebody know, invite somebody else to join the WhatsApp group. Any other immigrants here in the US navigating their journey, whether they've been here for a while or whether they are just beginning. We want everybody, we want to build a big, we want to build that critical mass so our voice is more powerful when we are together. That's the power of networking that we're learning about today. Like Winnie said, our first flagship conference for 2026 is happening next week, Saturday. And that is our women's conference. It is going to be exciting. Last year we had over 150 women present on the call. This year we are already close to 200 registrations and counting. So make sure you sign up if you're a woman, African woman here in the diaspora. Then that's an event you don't want to miss. This year it's been structured to be even more valuable. There'll be keynote speakers or speeches, breakout sessions. You'll find ones that are relevant to you, fireside chats, all of that good stuff. It's going to be incredible. We're still getting feedback, meaningful connections that were made from last year. So please go ahead and register. And again, don't just register, share and tell people about it. And let's make this one big. And it's virtual. So regardless of where you are, you can join the conference. You can join from any part of the country. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to I think 3 p.m. So it's a packed full day on the 28th. So make sure you are a part of it. And then lastly, like I mentioned, AIM, we're a non-profit organization and we are able to do what we do off of the generosity of members who see value in pushing our work. So I've put the link to donate if you're led to give towards our work. Please go ahead and do that. We'll greatly appreciate it. So click on the link or just save the link so that any day you're led, you don't need to look for us. You can go ahead and click on that and then make a donation to help us keep powering our programming. We're launching some critical programs to serve people at a more transformational level, and it takes resources to do it. So we're counting on the community's support to continue to do that. And last but not the least, immigration circle, our immigration circles, we introduced that this month. It was very successful, and that's where people get one-on-one consultation with our immigration attorneys. It's every first Saturday of the month. So we'll be opening up the registration for April's session next week. So please be on the lookout for that. Best way to know when it goes live is to join the WhatsApp group. That's where we'll be posting because of the limited amount of slots. It's one-on-one time with our immigration attorneys, and it's for free. So because of the limited time we have or limited resources in terms of available attorneys, we are going to keep the promotion just within AIM. And no, last time we posted it outside, and in 2 minutes the whole thing was booked. So we're going to keep it internal. So let people know they can join the community to know when the to know when the link goes live. So they can, anybody who has immigration questions are dealing with something, it's confidential, one-on-one, just with the attorney, and it's if the links are private, so nobody else gets to review or any of that. So we urge everyone to take advantage. That's our response to 2026 and how the immigration climate has been, and we're hoping to, through that platform, help as many people as we can. And the people from the first session, it's been good reviews all the way. So we're looking forward to continuing to do that, as much as we are enabled. That is all the announcements that I have. Please, let's stay connected, stay in touch with what's going on within AIM. But with that, thank you all, and let's have a productive rest of our day. God bless you all.
One more request, please.
Go ahead, Winnie.
May I also request that when you go to YouTube and get the AIM YouTube, can you please subscribe to it? Subscribe to the
Yes.
AIM YouTube so that we continue to grow the AIM family in that regard as well. Join
Yes.
AIM on LinkedIn so that we increase the number of followers. Let's be our own cheerleaders in this.
Advocates. Yes, thank you so much for saying that. So yeah, the replay for today will go live on Tuesday. So just note that it's going to go live on YouTube. We'll put that in the community. So if you want to listen to Winnie again, make sure you're connected. Thank you, Winnie. Thanks, everyone. Have a blessed day, everybody. Love to your families. We'll see you next week for the women's conference for all the women. For the men, just support the women and tell other women in your life about it. We'll have our own another time. This is Women's Month, so they get to enjoy this one.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Winnie. So amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.